I recently rewatched my most anticipated games of 2023 video that I made earlier this year, and in a word, oof. That's right. For the first time ever, I made some hypothetical and largely emotion-based guesses that turned out to not be 100% accurate. So, to re-earn your trust in me, I'm here to eat crow and reverse cowgirl humility. I had on the honorable mentions list Spirit Swap, Lo-Fi Beats to Match 3-2, The Plucky Squire, and Demon School. They did not come out this year. Neither did the highly rumored, highly anticipated Elden Ring DLC that I mentioned. We know its name now, Shadow of the Erd Tree, but no word on a release date. Maybe 2024. On the other hand, 3 games didn't make the list because I didn't think they would actually come out this year, and those games were Lies of P, Starfield, and Hollow Knight Silksong, so... Lies of P was great, and I'm glad it came out this year, but Starfield, let's talk about Starfield for a moment. Starfield, I'm kind of considering a moral victory for not including it on my top 10 most anticipated list, because it did come out this year, but it kind of felt like maybe it shouldn't have. Not that it was rushed in development or had a bunch of glitches or bugs in it or anything, it was perfectly playable, but it just felt empty. It's like when you're supposed to write a 5-page paper, but you only write the first page and fill the rest with lorem ipsum because you think the teacher's kind of checked out and she's not going to flip over and read the rest of it. But then she does, and she tells you she's disappointed in you, but she still gives you a C because you're a billion-dollar company that put out some good games once. So I was right to not have it on my list of most anticipated, but for the wrong reasons. For the actual list itself, number 10 was Armored Core 6. Not enough goblins! As a fan of From Software, it was interesting to see what aspects carried through from the Souls games and how they were implemented in a mech universe. But I love exploration in Souls games, just walking around a weird, beautiful gothic hellscape, getting irreparably pranked and then dying from being covered in sewer. Armored Core 6 didn't really have any of that, but that's okay, because I still had Lies of P. Number 9 was Killer Klowns from Outer Space, the game. Did not come out this year. Number 8 was Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. I was drawn to this game because of its jet set radio aesthetic and inspiration, and it was exactly that. But I guess I've changed somehow in the 23 years since Jet Set Radio came out, because this game didn't hit with me the same way. As with any retro-styled media or remake, you have to navigate what you take and what you abandon. And a lot of Bomb Rush Cyberfunk was lifted, but it lacked the inherent low-poly charm of the original. There's no shortage of neon skating games these days, and Thirsty Suitors kind of ended up being the vibrant soundtrack game I was hoping for anyway. Number 7 was Cassette Beasts. Cassette Beasts elevated the core Pokemon-style gameplay with interesting complexity and a fun retro tape aesthetic. The graphics and gameplay are cute while hinting at a greater depth to the story. There is an interesting fusion mechanic, but I did not play enough to get a variety of beasts to remix. And at the end of the day, I can't resist the instant gratification of the Pokemon Fusion generator. Number 6 was Redfall. And I was really disappointed by all of the other, Left 4 Dead alikes that came out recently, so really hoping Redfall doesn't disappoint me. Welp. This game is so weird. I didn't play it at launch because I heard bad things about it, and by the time I did sit down to play it, I couldn't get anyone to play with me, so I ended up playing the solo campaign. A lot of the elements of this game seem like they're trying to be legitimate horror, but the character designs are like a smoothed-faced Fortnite filter, stylized, but not in a way that looks balanced. The hands are roughly the same size as the forearms and the head, so the whole bodies look out of proportion and not in an intentional way. That feeling carries through in a lot of the game. I kept feeling like my character was crouching because the POV camera is really low to the ground. And you can see it in weird places like this doorknob. To look like it's the right height, it has to be weirdly close to the ground. Everything about the game world feels uncomfortably out of scale. Some of Redfall's issues, like the perplexingly trivial combat, are fixable. But stuff like this is fundamental to the game design and therefore not really possible to be patched away. So chalk this one up to another disappointing non-substitute for the Left 4 Dead hole in my heart. Number 5 was Atomic Heart. The monster robot, character, setting design of this retro Soviet game is delightful. But Atomic Heart is like when you go to a cafe you saw on Instagram to get a really fancy stacked dessert, and it is a feast for the eyes, but then taste-wise it's pretty mid. Like, well, I came here because it looked cool, and it does have that going for it, so I really have no one to blame but myself. Atomic Heart has some of the worst dialogue I've heard in a modern era game. From the main character's too oft-repeated catchphrase,
"Crispy critters, crispy critters, oh, crispy critters!"
to openly complaining about pretty basic video game concepts.
"Crispy critters, now I gotta deal with another crazy-ass lock. Fuck, I'm a magnet for annoying bullshit."
It's hard to tell how much of this is intended to be a thoughtful, if clumsily applied criticism of these kinds of games, and how much is just bad. And there are also likely some literal translation, but also cultural translation issues at hand. Arguably, Atomic Heart could be described as camp, especially the perplexing bursts of horniness.
I can't wait for your strong hands to grope my interface with lustful abandon.
But the blandness of the combat, stealth, and just like the general gameplay means it wasn't all that fun to play. A better art book than a game. Number 4 is Schim. Did not come out this year. Number 3 is Nine Souls. Did not come out this. Number 2 is Slitterhead. Did not come. Hades 2, Early Access. Did not come out this year. For me, Hades 2 Early Access was like when tubes dream of carrying ocean water instead of tap water. It was a pipe dream. I also made a follow-up video to my most anticipated list on TikTok that was basically my least anticipated games of 2023, where I addressed all the comments telling me that my very personal, highly subjective list was wrong. But that's the trick with most anticipated lists. They don't reflect how good a game actually is. They only reflect how I feel about that game coming out. So despite the fact that I was aggressively unexcited about Tears of the Kingdom isn't on the list because I'm not excited about it. I'm happy to say that I actually really liked it. I beat it, I had a great time, and I don't regret not looking forward to it. Sometimes anticipation can ruin things when they don't live up to your hype, but honestly, most of my enjoyment from that game came from seeing what other people made in it, not my own experience playing with it. So, I don't regret any of my hubris about Tears of the Kingdom. Here's what I said about Baldur's Gate 3. It's not the kind of game that I would normally invest like a lot of hours in, so I ended up bumping it a lot of hours in. Did you know Patreon has a free membership level now? You can follow my Patreon feed and see any public updates without fully signing up. It's a great way to keep track of my video releases or public announcements, new projects, con appearances, whatnot, without having to follow me on social media. And if you reach a place where you want to support me, you can do that easily because you'll already be right there. You'll be cool and intelligent, like people like Alice, Common Opponent, and Danielle and Court Welch, who have the true skills of a Zen master. They are never too excited nor too pessimistic, but merely living in the moment of game hype. Arguably, Atomic Horny could be described as camp.